You want a physical signature for every single requisition? Hope you brought a comfortable chair. Hey, I'm Ethan, and I work as a lead technician for a specialized industrial firm where we handle heavy machinery repairs. Now, because parts are expensive and often custom ordered, our old system was simple. I'd email my manager, hey, we need a $4,000 hydraulic seal. He'd reply, approved, and I'd order it. Quick, efficient, and everyone was happy. Enter Kevin. Kevin is a new efficiency consultant turned director of operations. Kevin thinks email is for lazy people and decided that to curb unauthorized spending, every single requisition, regardless of cost, now requires a physical ink-on-paper signature on a specific Form 402 hand-delivered to his office. I told Kevin this was a bad idea because we are a high-volume shop. On a busy Monday, I might order 40 different items ranging from $5 bolts to $10,000 engines. Kevin's response, if it's not signed by me in person, the company isn't paying for it. No exceptions. I don't care if it's a nickel or a grand, I want to see every request that crosses your desk. I realized Kevin didn't quite grasp what every request meant. I usually batch my orders or handle the small stuff like washers, lubricants, and safety goggles through a general shop fund. But not anymore. Monday morning comes. Instead of batching my needs into one list, I treated every single individual component as a separate requisition. Need 10 specific bolts? That's one form. Need a bottle of degreaser? That's a form. Need a replacement light bulb for the break room? Form. By 10 a.m., I had a stack of 64 individual forms. I walked into Kevin's office. He was on a conference call. I waited, and when he hung up, I laid the stack down. Kevin, what is this? Me. The requisitions for the morning. You said you wanted to see every request. I need these signed so I can get the shop running. It took him 20 minutes to sign them all because he insisted on reading each one. By the time he finished, I was back with 15 more. By Tuesday, he was visibly annoyed, and by Wednesday, the fallout began. Because I was spending half my day walking back and forth to his office and waiting for him to finish meetings to get signatures, the actual repair work slowed to a crawl. 3 major clients called to ask why their machines weren't ready. The breaking point was the emergency overnight. A local plant had a massive failure, and we needed a $12 O-ring to fix a $200,000 pump. It was around 4:45 p.m. Kevin had already headed out for a networking dinner. Now, under the old rules, I'd just buy it and get reimbursed. But under Kevin's no exceptions rule, I couldn't. I told the client, I'm sorry, I don't have authorization to purchase the part until it's physically signed off by the director. The client was furious. They called the CEO. The CEO called Kevin at his dinner. Kevin told the CEO he'd handle it in the morning. The CEO told Kevin to get himself back to the office now. Kevin had to drive 45 minutes back to the office in his suit just to sign a single piece of paper for a $12 part. The next morning, a company-wide memo went out. Digital approvals via email are reinstated for all items under $5,000. Kevin doesn't look at me anymore when I walk past his office. I still make sure to bring him a physical form for anything over $5,001, and I always make sure to wait until he's right in the middle of a very important lunch. After all, he wanted to see every request. No asking for help anymore to move 600-plus pound linen carts? Okay, bet. Now they're paying me workers' comp. I work for a hotel, and my chief engineer had a meeting about me asking him for help moving stuff, and essentially he was doing my job. So my GM said I'm no longer allowed to ask for help. Yesterday, while working, I had to move a 600-pound and a 760-pound cart of linen. I ended up pulling my back out and got sent to the ER. Now I'm in bed, out of work for 2 weeks. The best part is our HR lady asked me how I injured myself, and I told her it was because I was moving 600-plus pounds all by myself. She asked me, why didn't I ask for help? And I proceeded to show her the group chat and text messages between me and my GM. Now an email went out to all employees today saying we are not allowed to push, lift, or move 100-plus pounds without another person. Guess I'm allowed to ask for help again, but it took me getting injured. I mean it. Stay out of the kitchen. Okay, if you say so. I started working at McDonald's. It's a job. My job is primarily service, which means I'm bagging the orders, making drinks, boxing fries when the cook staff is busy, handling customers, and cleaning. I've worked here for 2 weeks now, and I've been getting used to the flow of things. Today, during my last hour of the lunch rush, my manager told me to focus on customer orders. So when there were no more customers, I went to the back to help and got told to get out and focus on customers. I told her there were none, and she said she didn't care. She needed me out there. I stood by the register for 5 minutes, then went back again and got told the same thing, but she was more forceful this time. I mean it, you need to stay out there. Okay, fine. So I stood there by the register for a whole hour. A customer was waiting for their bag, which was right there, and I knew what she needed. She was getting upset, and I told her, I'm sorry, I would get that for you, but I'm not allowed back there right now. I ran out of medium cups and asked a coworker to get them for me. She assumed I didn't know where they were and offered to show me, so I said again, no, I know where they are. Manager doesn't want me back there right now. Someone else told me that I needed to give customers their drink cups, even if they ordered on the kiosk. Again, I said I would love to, but I'm not allowed to go back there and see what they ordered, so I don't know if they ordered a drink unless they tell me. It's been 30 minutes, and I'm basically begging now to help because I'm so bored, but I'm told again that I'm needed out here. So I sat there more and just waited for my shift to be over. Eventually, a shift lead said I needed to help and not shrink my duty, so I fully explained the situation to her, and a general manager overheard. She said she would talk to the manager who told me that. My manager pulled me aside and apologized, saying she just felt overwhelmed, so that's why she kicked me out.
Rude customer asked and received. I worked in a small-town convenience store in the Midwest many years ago. It was part of a chain based out of Ames, Iowa. One night, as it was getting close to closing, a customer who had finished pumping gas came in to pay. He immediately started saying that he wasn't paying for the last gallon of gas because the pump hadn't shut off properly. I looked out and could see a small, maybe 4 to 5 inch diameter puddle of gas, maybe 4 ounces worth. I informed him of all the signs informing the users that they were responsible for what they pumped. He got ridiculous and asked me what I was going to do about it. He refused to pay the full amount. Without saying a word, I stepped out from behind the counter, walked around the pizza cook, the only other employee there who watched this all happen, and headed for the payphone next to the door. Mr. Ridiculous asked me what I thought I was doing, and I informed him that I was calling 911 for attempted theft. He told me to get back to the register and he'd pay the full amount, which he did while calling me every name in the book. I didn't respond, which made him even madder. Once the transaction was complete, he pulled a little notebook and pen out of his pocket and gave me a really snide look as he told me, I want you to give me the president's address, now. Cue Malicious Compliance. Yes, so, I told him. It's 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. I don't know the zip code offhand, sorry. He was so mad that he didn't realize what I'd given him. He was just scribbling it down as fast as he could. Once he finished writing it down, he closed his little notepad, pocketed it and his pen, and told me that I'd be hearing from the home office once they received his letter. As he was walking out the door, I raised my voice and said, Sir. He stopped, turned around, and growled back, What? I answered as sweetly as I could, Have a nice night. I could see the vein on his forehead pop up before he turned and stormed across the lot to his car. The pizza cook, who had watched the whole thing, told me, Dude, you're cold. Which part? I asked him. Telling him to have a nice night. That was cold. I had to explain to the cook what the address was that I gave Mr. Ridiculous. He had completely missed it. I've often wondered how far that guy made it before he realized what I had done. It still tickles me, over 30 years later.
Manager said to follow the checklist exactly, so I did. Every single line. I used to work in a small warehouse where we had a daily closing checklist that honestly no one took too seriously. It was one of those things that had clearly been written years ago and never updated, so most of us just did the important parts and went home. Recently, we got a new manager who was very big on accountability and kept saying we needed to follow procedures exactly as written, with no shortcuts. He called me out in front of everyone one day for skipping a few steps that didn't really apply anymore, which was kind of embarrassing, not gonna lie. So the next shift, I decided, all right, I will follow it exactly. The checklist had things like inspect all emergency exits, which meant I had to walk across the entire building and check doors that were basically never used. There was also a step about testing backup lighting, which involved turning off the main lights in sections and waiting to see if the backups kicked in. This whole process took way longer than usual, and since I was doing it properly, I couldn't help the rest of the team finish up faster like I normally would. People were stuck waiting around because certain tasks depend on others being done first. By the time I finished everything, we were almost an hour past closing time. The manager was still there and asked why it took so long, so I showed him the checklist and pointed out that I followed every step exactly like he told us to. He looked pretty annoyed, but didn't really have anything to say without contradicting himself. After that, the checklist mysteriously got updated the next week, and suddenly we were allowed to skip half those steps again. Some coworkers said I was being petty, but I just did what I was told, right?
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, give it a like.
It really helps. Subscribe for more and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.